I'm Braeden Hill, and I'm a member at High Point Church. You know, I grew up in a great house with parents that no doubt loved me, showed me love. You know, they were there for me. We didn't talk about church. We didn't go to church, maybe a handful of times. So my first year in college, I met a girl named Jamie who would eventually become my wife. One of our very first conversations was kind of brought to by her, and she really desired to have a relationship with a man who knew who Jesus was and what he did for us, who knew the gospel and who desired going to church with her and leading her. And that all sounded fine. I had no idea what it was all about. I didn't know, I hadn't gone to church. And yeah, I believed that there was, a God, but as far as I was concerned, lying and telling her that I knew him and it was important was going to achieve my goal of, making her feel good and becoming my girlfriend at the time. So, and I don't have our marriage statement, but it was something along the lines of, we're going to have an adventurous life. And we're going to have fun, and we're going to dedicate ourselves to one another and keep God the central focus of our marriage. And looking back, it's interesting because we came to that common agreement that that's what it was going to be, and I really didn't know what that meant. Anyway, we got married. We ended up moving out to Altoona, and part of that, Jamie started kind of getting on me. We need to really find a church. We need to find a home, because that's, it was still obviously a big, something that was very important to her. January of 2012, and we had some neighbors move in, and I didn't talk to the neighbors. My wife had been introduced to them. She had found out the neighbors were the pastor and his wife, and immediately the red flag went up for me. I was more like, oh crap, this is now I'm gonna be forced to go and talk to this guy, and he's gonna want to talk to me about God, and and I would come to find out that it was gonna be a lot more than that. And I remember playing with the kids next door, who happened to be the pastor's kids. And through that, he came out and introduced himself to me. And this whole time I kind of had this wall. I'd built this wall up and didn't really want to say much, didn't want to talk about it. And the pressure was off. I mean, it was like talking to a friend. He really just wanted to meet me. He wanted to know about me, wanted to just have a conversation. I was going for a walk or a run, and he drove by and asked, "Hey, you still want to hear, or you still want to do the Bible study? You still okay? You want to do that?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I'm ready." And I remember meeting at Hy-Vee and just walking through, and there's we had a basic, this is what the gospel is, and started talking about things in a little more in depth. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't hard. It wasn't easy to listen to. It actually kind of made me feel worse off. But it was the things that he was revealing to me, and it wasn't that he was doing the work. It was that this book that he was presenting to me, it was really pointing to my sin, and it was the sin that I was doing that made me, or gave me, the temporary satisfaction that was also creating this destructiveness between my wife and I, and ultimately everything that I was pursuing in life. April 29th, 2012, and I remember at the corner of my bed asking God to save me. There's no question. I didn't bring anything to the table. He had saved me for my sins. Jesus Christ did the ultimate work. I want to call it relentless love. He doesn't let me feel like I'm not loved ever. The good, the bad, there's things that I feel that I grieve over, and there's things that, I have extreme happy situations and thoughts, but everything I do, I know who to direct it at, and I know who to thank, and it's always directed upward.